Hello everyone. Welcome to this webinar by Shreetara School of Mental Wellbeing. Please show me a thumbs up if you can see me and hear me clearly. I am Mansi Khurana, one of the mentors at Shreetara. Let me tell you a little bit about Shreetara. We are a group of mentors who have come together to help you have a better experience of life, that is, have clarity of life. How do we make this happen? It's a very simple and systematic process. It starts with you writing all the questions that trouble your mind. Solutions that we give you are based on our experiences. That is, we tell you what we do or did for ourselves. We don't give you do's and don'ts. We basically show you all sides of the issue, and you develop an understanding and awareness. All mentors at Shreetara have done this program and worked on their problems first. This webinar is a part of our parenting series. Today, we will cover the issues of junk food, not eating, and overeating of food amongst kids. Today, me and Sulbi, one of the mentors at Shreetara, will be taking up the questions we have received regarding eating issues in kids. We all know junk food isn't good, and the kind of food we are getting these days is much more harmful due to chemicals inserted. But having said that, it is the real time situation which most of us parents have to struggle with. And I'm also a parent, well, I'm aware of this and have to deal with this. So, Surbi, the first question we have received is that my son, who is 9 years old, is always interested in eating only junk food. It's a task to make him eat healthy food. I have to really convince him, and it becomes very uncomfortable. Is there some easier way to do this?
Yeah, hi Mansi. Firstly, I would like to tell everyone all what we are going to discuss today will work for younger age group where children are not teenagers yet. Maybe we can have another webinar for teenagers later if we get a lot of questions relating to teenage issues as well. You are aware the kids are eating junk. It is very normal. This irritates and upsets you. Hence, you think hard on this and you're looking for a solution to this issue. What is more important than your child's health? And you can't put the responsibility of your child's health on your child. How much a child eats, when he eats, what he eats is parents' responsibility. Also, see that initially, most likely, you only introduce junk food to them, either because you also wanted to eat it or because you didn't have enough time to cook. So you thought, let me just open a bag of chips for him or give him a chocolate for now. Or maybe grandparents, aunts, or uncles gave them the first sip of soft drink or that first bag of chips and they loved it. We all know junk food is addictive by nature. They add such chemicals in them that it tastes good and you want to have more and more of it. Hence the Lay's tagline, no one can eat just one. And unfortunately, countries like Mexico and Hungary have a tax on junk food, but Indian government doesn't put that tax, which would automatically discourage people or at least the adults to eat and buy junk food. What do you think, Mansi?
Yeah, of course. Also, if the child is a habit of eating at home, you simply don't get it in your house. You rightly said that till the child is dependent, their health is parents' responsibility. Another question is whether I scold my child or tell him lovingly to stop eating junk. He doesn't listen to me.
Yes, Mansi. This is what parents normally do. They tell the kids to not eat junk out of concern for their health. And when the child doesn't listen, they resort to scolding. Your child will only listen to all that you say if he's scared of you or if you teach him absolute obedience and cut him from the rest of the world. So he never sees a disobedient child, which is not practical. Some parents create a fear in the child and they do listen to them till a certain age, but this doesn't last long. You will have to tell your kids clearly that till the time you're dependent on us, your health is my responsibility. If you fall sick, I'm the one who has to take you to the doctor. I'm the one who has to hence take care of your diet. That is why a proper healthy diet and your immune is very important. Otherwise, your immune system will get weak and there are more chances of you falling sick. So now, Mansi, the question here is, if you fall sick, then the kids can question the parents also. That mom, you keep telling me, but mom, even you don't take care of your health.
Well, you're right. But that is why it's actually better if you two have a healthy routine. Because very soon, when kids get older, they will complain that even we have to spend our time looking after you when you fall sick. But as of now, you can say clearly that I am stuck in some of my bad habits and share what are the ill effects that you are facing. And if not, then tell them that many a times you have consciously not done it and taking control of it. Say that only if you are taking control of your habits. Having said that, it doesn't mean I let you fall in those habits as well. There are your formative years, and if you take care of your health now, then you will naturally be healthy. Otherwise, later in life, you will have to spend a lot of time in getting your health back. More possibilities of that, you keep getting busy with something or the other, and you keep postponing your health, and then you end up doing an irreversible damage to your health. Isn't it right?
Yes. Also, Mansi, another benefit of this is that you yourself will feel like doing the things you're preaching to your child. You can and should tell them that it's harder for us because we have these bad habits for a longer time. So, you don't want them to get into these bad habits, as later it gets very difficult to get rid of them. You can tell them that you don't want to give them gyan on health. Instead, you want to instill healthy habits so they naturally remain healthy.
Yeah, this is absolutely right. What we do is we start making the kids understand and say things like, you're a good boy, you're my prince, you always listen to mom. Or we start scolding. Why don't you listen to me? You always trouble me. I don't know when you will understand. So basically, you move away from the issue and get into a conflict. Now the question is, if not this, then what do we do? See, to instill healthy habits in kids, you will have to see that making them understand something and disciplining them are two separate things. You cannot make the kids understand, but you can discipline them. If the child does something you think he shouldn't, then instead of giving him an understanding of life or gyan of good behavior or scolding him, you need to give them clear instructions. He can eat however much he wants. You don't need to force. You can say a little bit, that's it. But definitely make sure that he doesn't eat junk instead of healthy home cooked food. Surely limit the junk. You don't have to give them junk and not force them to eat more of healthy food either. No need to explain if you eat healthy, they are good kids, etc., etc. Or bribe them, saying if you eat healthy, mom or dad will give you this. Simply tell them, never mind, if you don't want to eat now, even later you will get this food only. I will just reheat it.
Yes, Mansi. If you want that your child should get into healthy eating habits, then nothing can be done for this overnight. First, you will have to stop lecturing them, scolding them, and giving them gyan. Tell them everything with reasons. Because if we don't tell them the reasons, it seems like a lecture. And repeatedly tell the same points. Do not deviate. For example, if you want to tell them to eat healthy, repeatedly say that this junk food is damaging for health and that is why it is not allowed. I'm responsible for your health because if something happens to you, then I only have to take care of you. I only have to take you to the doctor. And if you do not eat healthy or do not exercise, then your immunity reduces and you fall sick very easily. This is what I have to tell my 9-year-old child as well. So you will have to do the same. Even if you tell them repeatedly, sometimes they will eat junk via aunts, uncles, grandparents, or friends. But as you repeatedly tell them the same thing with confirmation and stop scolding them and lecturing them, you will get results. Similarly, kids can be told simply that this breaking of things, playing with keys, or mobile is not allowed. It's damaging, and we get hassled if you lose our keys or break our mobile phone. These are not things to play with. They might cry and shout initially. Then remember, this crying will only make them stronger. So let them cry as much as they want. This crying will reduce over time as it gets clear to them that they will not get these things to play with.
Yeah, absolutely. So what happens is we get scared when kids cry and we end up giving them what they are crying for. Be it things we don't want to give. Because if those things get lost, we'll get into trouble. Like keys. Also, some parents end up giving their expensive mobiles to their kid just to make them stop crying. But if a kid asks for a knife or a blade, you don't give it to him easily, even if he keeps crying. So kids at a very young age understands that if we cry, we will get what we want. Although they don't know what is risky or safe, expensive or inexpensive. But you do know these things. Yet you end up giving it to them because you are so scared of your kids crying.
I know we just don't like it when our kids cry. We feel somehow we just have to make them stop crying. But if they ask for something risky, like Mansi mentioned, a knife or a blade, then would you give it to them? No, right? It's better to let them cry rather than giving them those risky things. You need to and can understand all this for a long term solution and can let the child cry for a little while, because after a few times they will understand that I will not get these things even if I cry for long or if I cry out loud. This instantly giving them the things they're crying for is not a solution. You can understand all this and deal with your children without trying to make the child understand the importance of good behavior. You just have to take care of their safety and make sure that the child is not harming or damaging himself or anything else. Whatever can be moved away from the child, move it. Rest, take them back from your child. If he cries or shouts, you sit patiently. Just tell them clearly, no matter how much or how long you cry, you will not get these things. So that they get the message that it's not necessary that I will get something if I cry for it. Also, don't tell them not to cry. They didn't get what they expected or wanted. Hence, they are hurt. That's just their way of expressing they're getting hurt. Let them do that and you do your work. Sometimes kids start hitting the parents. At that time, look them in the eye and tell them strictly that this hitting hurts and they're not allowed to hit. If they hit you, you will hit back. What do you say, Mansi?
Yeah, actually, when they were younger and they used to hit, you used to laugh. So they felt they have done something very amusing. And that's why everyone is laughing. And that's one of the way they learned hitting. You have to repeatedly tell them that when they hit, it hurts and this is not allowed. And I will hit back if they hit again. You do not have to lecture them, but you have to say these words as instructions. And every time the situation comes, repeat these words. Hitting is not allowed, even if you have to do so 50 times. And I'm saying this out of my own experience. My own child used to hit other kids, and I myself have repeated these lines many a times.
Yes, Mansi. You can even tell your spouse if they cooperate and request them to say these words only. If your spouse doesn't agree, then let them handle the kids their way. But you follow this if you want results. Do not end up fighting with your spouse for all this. You might think this is an absolute simple thing. And what new have we told you? But you don't know that in a day, at least 50 times, you tell your child he's a good child or he's a bad child. Now you will have to stop and not give them gyan to be a good person. You tell them so many times that if they eat this or study like this, then they will become successful. If not, they will end up doing nothing in life. Now you do not need to give them your gyan on how to lead their life. What do you say, Mansi?
Of course, another problem is that parents say that they have to chase their child to eat, basically run after them, which is very hectic and inconvenient. What do you have to say about it, Subi?
Mansi, this I've seen in pretty much all houses, moms or grandmoms, or at times they have hired help to run after kids to make them eat, or they're complaining that the kids are not eating enough. Instead of this, you should make sure your child feels hungry. There is enough food in our houses, but not enough arrangement to get tired or exhausted and hence feel hungry. For this, you will have to make sure he does some outdoor activities and is physically active, plays physical games, and is not just on screen all the time. You have to make sure that they eat a definite quantity of fruits, salads, and green vegetables, and drink a limited quantity of milk. Besides that, however much they eat can be left on them. That is, if they're not overweight. When I was young, my mother also complained to my pediatrician that I do not eat enough. What he told my mom was very interesting. He said, no child is undernourished in our house. Moms are worried that the kids don't eat enough, but most of them are overweight and suffer from obesity later in life. And I'm sure you all know how difficult it is to lose weight once you have put it on. I have been overweight pretty much my entire life and have struggled with diets and workouts. So, if someone asks me that why my child is so thin, do I not take care of him? Then I usually reply that he's fit and healthy, and I know how difficult it is to lose weight later in life. So, this is my way of taking good care of him. Do not give your child more quantity than they want to eat, as more food is only going to make them sick. There is no need to tell them to eat more. If they are not hungry, tell them to tell you when they are. And you can reheat the same healthy meal you cook for them and give it to them. Take care that they're not eating less healthy food and then filling up their stomach with junk. Then you have to strictly tell them to not eat junk food. And you have to make sure that you don't keep junk at home. And also not let them eat junk from outside.
Yes, it's also seen that the child says that the parents scold a lot, whereas parents feel or say that we have only scolded them a little or just told them not to do some things.
Right. Even if you say something sternly, kids call it scolding only. And sometimes we purposely scold. So kids usually say, why did you scold me for no reason back then? Or why did you scold me more than required at that time? However, if you remember the reason for your scolding, you can tell them. And for over scolding, you can say, you will never like me scolding you. You might find it more than required. I also don't like scolding you. This scolding is a sensitive matter. If I say scold this much or that much, if your child does this, then this, scold a little or more, then this little cannot be measured. Your little can be too much for me or for someone else. Or your scolding a lot might also be nothing for me. Also, neither I nor you can measure your child's deep rooted habits, his stubbornness. For this, there is more which we will divulge into in our next webinar. Also, we have a parenting video series, episode number 26 to 30, which you can see on Shreetara's YouTube channel. We'll post the link of the same in the chat right now.
As Surbi said, till the kids are dependent on us, the food they eat cannot be left on them. What a child eats and when and how much he eats, these decisions have to be taken by the parents only. Also, I agree with her that what can be more important than health, be it ours or our precious kids. Some way or the other, the issue on the food affect our relationship with the child. The relationship does become strained. This is a very important point, not just in reference to food, in all references. Everyone wants to live according to their own interests, likes, and dislikes. Kids too will also push you, argue with you, misbehave with you to get their own way. I've seen either parents scare their children or start getting scared of them. I say neither you need to be scared of them nor scare them. If someone suppresses themselves because of fear, sometimes or the other, eventually they will resist and also retaliate someday. And this is very damaging for a parent child relationship. and can cause a lifelong rift. But be it the issue of food, studies, outing, night stays with friends, till the kids are not old enough to take care of themselves, till then, you have to set a system at home for eating, studying, sleeping, screen time, physically playing, etc. Now it's up to you if you want to keep arguing with your child or be firm by understanding what best can be done and then do that.
Yes, Mansi, since kids are being scolded and given gyan at home, the environment at home becomes very unfriendly and strained. It's not like kids will get spoiled if they don't get your understanding. There are so many examples where kids didn't have one parent or sometimes even both. And even then, those kids are doing fine in life. This parenting work is action oriented and a little complex and sensitive. We are not giving you any fixed behavioral rules. We are letting you know all these things are flexible. No words can show you both the dimensions of a situation together. Flexible and rules are actually opposite. But due to lack of words, we have to use them together here. So, what I'm saying is that you have to form flexible rules for parenting. At home, everyone feels safe and free, or at least wants to. Mismanagement is natural for human mind, and management is imposed. Right, Mansi?
Of course, still, since four people are living under one roof, we need few rules. Like in a city, all of us are free to go wherever, but so that we don't bang into each other. There are red lights and the rules of driving on our left and overtaking from the right. So basically, there should be minimum and clear rules, and the reason behind these rules should also be clear. Like keeping the things back in their place is an important rule. So the next time you need that thing, you do not waste a lot of time looking for it. And if there is something you do not want to tell them as you feel they are too young, then you can tell them that this is the reason that will be told to you when you are X years old. Now, here kids might not understand your reason or agree with them or be satisfied with them, but you should know the reason behind your setting the rules.
Right. Mismanagement is without any reason, and mismanagement is normal and natural. This is mind's basic nature. If you say mismanagement with clarity and see it as normal and natural, then you will talk about management with reasons. And naturally, you will have minimum and flexible rules. You will have to make the rules, implement them, and you will have the right to change them. Kids will not agree easily. They will never let you be the authority wholeheartedly. But they will get used to the few flexible rules when they know the reasons behind them. They will not see the rules as your way, but as a minimum need for managing the house. One thing can be told to them clearly and repeatedly whenever required, and that is, I am the final authority and the final decision will be mine. What do you say, Mansi?
Yes, of course, this is my experience too, that if you are not the final authority, then any rule made by you is useless. In fact, then your rules will add to the confusion. If traffic police is not the authority over you, then what is the point of red light rule or driving on your left rule? If you cannot see yourself as an authority, then these things I have told you of management of the house and avoiding conflict with the kids are useless. Give them the example of a team captain. Everyone has to obey the captain during the match. At the time of conflict, if you do not obey the captain, then the match won't be possible. Also, this being a captain is a time being arrangement. Later, everyone leads their own life their own way.
Actually, in any common work, conflict can only be avoided if it's clear who is the final authority. To avoid this, some parents start avoiding spending time with their kids. Some start getting scared of their kids, and things start functioning according to the kids. Some scold their kids and make them do as they want. And at a lot of places, a mix of all these is happening. It is impossible to maintain a conflict-free environment without establishing the authority. Yes, establishing authority is a little difficult. but it is possible. And now the choice is yours whether you want to fight with your kids and live uncomfortably or understand all this and implement it with your kids.
Having said that, again, a lot of these things which we have discussed may or may not work for the teenagers. Teenagers know, or at least feel they know, most of these things already. Not doing it or following those things is a struggle for parents. If you find this useful, you can see Shreetara's parenting videos, episode number 26 to 30 on YouTube. And if you want to know more on how to stop arguing and fighting and to be firm with your child, then you can attend our next webinar. Hope we were able to give some answers, and with that, we end this webinar today. Thank you for listening. Please share your views in the comments here, or those of you who are watching it later can do so on YouTube comments. And keep sharing your problems, issues with us. We will try to cover as many as we can. If you found our content interesting, please like, share, and subscribe our YouTube channel, Facebook page, and our Insta handle. The links for the same have been posted in the chat. All of those who subscribe to our YouTube channel within 24 hours will get 20% discount in our paid programs. Also, if you want to get updates on such free webinars, you can join our WhatsApp group. For that, just WhatsApp us on the number which is on the screen right now, and we will add to you to the group. If you have anything to say or ask about this webinar, you can do so now. Shreetara offer one-on-one counseling for individuals, couples, parents, and children. To book a session, contact us on the number shared in the chat. Thank you again. Hope to see you all in our next webinar. The topic of which is how to not to be in conflict with your child but still be assertive.
I would like to announce we will be starting interactive session for kids in which we will cover friendship issues, sibling issues, and talkback issues. These sessions will be in English and will be starting from September end. And from November end, we will be starting Tuesday Club to deal with relationship and emotional issues. These sessions will be in Hindi. The meetings for both these will happen online on Zoom. If you're serious about joining, please WhatsApp us on the number which is on screen right now, and we will send you all the details. Also, all those who subscribe to our YouTube channel within 24 hours will get a 20% discount in our paid programs. Now, Mansi, maybe we can take up a few questions which have come up in the chat.
Yeah, one question which I see in the chat is I am working woman. I feel guilty when my child doesn't eat. So I end up giving him junk like Maggie or chips so that at least he eats something. Okay, so I'll take up that. I feel you should feel more guilty if you give him junk because then you're putting him in this habit. Your child knows now that if I don't eat this healthy food, my mom will feel guilty and give me junk. So the child starts manipulating you even without knowing it himself. So if you are a working mom and are busy, either hire a help or take help from family members. And also do not stock junk in your house. Keep roasted dals, makhanas, seeds, dry fruits, and carrots, cucumbers for instant snacking. I hope that helps.
Right. Another question that we've received in the chat is my child is too small, hardly 1.5 years old. Will he even understand when I say junk food is harmful? And if you fall sick, I will only have to take care of you. Uh, right. You don't know when your child starts understanding all these things. They develop an understanding at a very young age. So they might take time to fully absorb. But since this is the reality and this is a fact, you have to repeat these words only. Even I had to do the same with my child when he was that young. At 1.5, the child might not completely understand how difficult it is for you when you have to take them to the doctor and see them fall sick. But soon, when you repeatedly say these lines, they will understand, they will start understanding, and they develop a sense of what's harmful for them at a very young age, even before they understand the word harmful itself. So you repeatedly say these lines, and you will be surprised to know when they started understanding you. Now, due to time constraints, We will end this webinar. You can WhatsApp us or email us your questions, and we will definitely try to answer them either in our next webinar or via our YouTube videos. Thank you again. Hope to see you all in our next webinar, the topic of which is how to not be in conflict with your child but still be assertive.